Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Vault Excel. Interesting commentary that I'm about to bring to you. I saw this information just a little while ago, and I decided to go live to bring you this information. I'm going to go ahead and read something I've already pulled up so you can get a better understanding of what I'm going to read to you after I play the audio. This very wild and wicked story. Naturally, the owner is furious. He and the girlfriend pertaining to this animals being put down. Um, it's interesting. You're going to hear this mentioned. Rabies vector species is why the animals were put down, put to see if they had rabies, okay? Rabies vector species, RVS, are animals that can carry and transmit the rabies virus, a fatal viral disease that affects the brain central nervous system. Wild carnivores such as raccoons, skunks, foxes, coyotes, bobcats, beavers, bats, common carrier of rabies, other mammals, woodchucks, deer, other large carnivores, stray or feral animals, cats. Rabies can also infect unvaccinated domestic animals like dogs, cats, livestock. Rabies vector species can carry the virus without showing symptoms. Signs of rabies in mammals include unprovoked aggression, difficulty walking or impaired movement, and unusual vocalizations. I'm assuming that's weird sounds coming from the animal. Don't know. If you find a sick or injured RVS, you should not handle it if it is alert to your presence, able to move around easily in an unsafe location for rescue, like in the middle of the road. And that is exactly what happened with this squirrel. My understanding is the owner found it after the mom or somebody was hit by a car. So you see, it's listed here in Google. You're entitled to care or not care, agree or disagree, that you should not be handling a wild animal, period. And obviously he did that in order to get the animal back to his domain. So now we got to ask that question. Did this owner take the animals that he has, wild animals, in to be checked for rabies or this, that, and the other? Now, my understanding, the reason why the animals were put down is complaints, and that's the only way they can check to see if the animal has rabies is if it is deceased. So is that true? Very interesting. Carriers of rabies: foxes, skunks, raccoons, groundhogs, bats are rabies vector species and can carry the rabies virus without showing any of the typical symptoms. It is important to handle these animals with caution. If you need to rescue one, use gloves, towels, or other thick material. Now we get information also that when they went in to get the animals, one of the agents was bit by the animal. Now, I believe the owner is going to tell you that he's been bitten by the squirrel. So now we have to ask ourselves, when they do the testing for the squirrel and the raccoon, do they have rabies? Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault Excel. If you'd like to donate to this great network, $McAngie129 Cash App. Stickers and chats are always welcome during the live stream. Let's get down to business. Let's get information about this wicked, wicked story pertaining to wild animals that were seized by the government. Obviously, someone made an anonymous calls about this squirrel animals. It's a social media. How can I word this? He puts the animals on social media. I don't know where to take this. You be the judge. News Nation is the source. Thank you for joining me. Lord have mercy. What a mess. Happy Saturday, everybody. Because this is going to be an interesting ride. Interesting ride. I got 15 viewing. Thank you for your time.
Squirrel, viral sensation. Fans, you know how it is with people with pets on the internet. Social media embraced it. It's not the only guy. You see squirrels, raccoons, all kinds of stuff, right? Now its owner, Mark Longo, is going through something we're not used to. He took in Peanut 7 years ago, found him injured on the streets of New York City, shared their journey together on the internet ever since. They really had quite the relationship. It was really, really cute to watch. Then the government gets involved. New York State's Department of Environmental Conservation, D.E.C., raided his home and took the squirrel and this pet raccoon that he has. Now remember, he didn't just find these things. They said, well, he was potentially exposed to rabies. He had the squirrel for 7 years. Does it look like it has rabies? And
I don't know. What is it supposed to look like?
One of the investigators. So that's what they say in the statement about why this happened. They then...
Cuomo, what does a rabid squirrel animal supposed to look like? Foaming at the mouth? Acting vicious? That's one of the symptoms I just read to you. They will act aggressive. Well, the animal's going to be aggressive with these people, the agents, because the animals don't know these people. So that's expected. The animal is not familiar with these people, but it is a wild animal. And that's something a lot of people just don't want to accept about wild animals, that take wild animals in, such as a tiger, so on and so forth. It's a wild animal, whether it's a squirrel, a tiger, a hog, a pig, whatever. It's a wild animal. And you're trying to think for that animal because you deal with the animal. But you need to understand, it's still no different than a domesticated animal. You cannot assume what an animal will do, won't do. And that's what's wrong with us as humans. We're know-it-alls. We think we know everything until something bad happens, such as the animal, domesticated or wild, bites someone, mauls someone, child, neighbor, friend, stranger, whomever. And then the first thing they say, they go to news, oh, he's never bit me, she's never bit me. You know how many times I've heard that story pertaining to children mauled by dogs, and they're domesticated. Dog was in the house with the woman, the husband, the boyfriend, the baby, children, whatever. It's an animal. And it's time for people to start recognizing the animal for what it is. It is an animal. You can't predict what a human would do, okay? So how are you going to predict what an animal would do? Makes no sense to me.
Kill the squirrel and the raccoon because that's how they test for rabies. Why was this necessary? Mark Longo, the man in the video who just lost the squirrel, joins us now. This sucks. How are you taking it?
Wow, Cuomo.
Mr. Cuomo, I just want to say thank you so much for inviting me on the show. What happened today and what transpired throughout this week has been nothing short of a tragedy and a disgrace to the New York State.
Hey, Sam.
2 days ago, 10 to 15 D.E.C. officers raided my home for a raccoon and a squirrel. We used resources from this state to kill a squirrel and raccoon and raid my house as if I was a drug dealer. We have resources to kill a raccoon and a squirrel, but we can't fix the major bridges down the street.
Who do you think dimed you out on this? Who do you think, Mark, like they said for rabies? I mean, I looked up when I heard about this. You know, I had seen your videos, by the way. My senior producer, Jonathan, called me about it, but I had seen it. People love it. I mean, you know, it's one of the good things about social media. I mean, you did a great job with this animal. So I look up rabies, and they're pretty severe symptoms and demonstrations of behavior. Couldn't they have just observed the squirrel and the raccoon and said, well, they don't look rabid? And who told them that they might be rabid?
But they're wild animals. That's what they are, sir. Come on, Cuomo.
That's supposed to be happening. We did not hear from D.E.C. We didn't even get a statement from the D.E.C. We heard it from another news station that they killed Peanut. Since they left my house, not a single D.E.C. employee or state official even called me to tell me what happened. They came into my house. They even asked my wife for immigration status. They asked me if I had cameras in my house. They got local sheriffs to approve this. The DA approved this. They had a criminal judge sign a search warrant to come and take these animals.
Well, that's who signs it.
The woman who claimed, or the judge member who claimed to get bitten, everybody around here wore gloves. These are professionals who deal with animals on a daily basis, and you're going to tell me you got bit by a squirrel? None of this transpired. This was somebody out to get me. We moved to a small town to start a nonprofit animal rescue called Peanuts Freedom Farm. We understood that this internet sensation was a wave, and we wanted to turn it into something great, so we moved to New York from Connecticut. We moved here last April, and we started a nonprofit and have rescued over 300 animals, all in the name of Peanut. Peanut is the center of our organization. I used his social media to gather the funding to continue to help animals. And the D.E.C comes in here. They wouldn't even allow me to feed my horses who have been coming from neglected cases. They spent 5 hours taking apart my house for a squirrel and a raccoon. So I need an explanation as to why this state can find the funding to bring this many people to my house to destroy my life, but we can't fix major issues that we're having in this state.
Listen, I get it.
They went through everything in their house.
The alternative argument, to be honest, about like what we're not doing. This is just a really messed up thing. And you know, I know it's a squirrel, but this is a squirrel the way I have dogs. You know, as far as you're concerned. Now I get it. Maybe the law doesn't.
It's not the same. You know that, Cuomo.
That
Come on.
That goes to the second point, which is this what we needed to do? Look, here's what I can do. Mark, I give you an open channel of communication. You let me know. I mean, we can't bring Peanut back. You know, I mean, not to, you know, trivialize it, but they did what they did. Right. And you're going to want to raise money, and I'll help you do that too on my own personally. You know, that's not.
Well, Cuomo must like animals.
But I'm really, you know, you're a sweetheart. And what you and your wife are trying to do is great. And maybe, hey, thanks for watching. Go to...
Let's read some of the comments. I meant to put up a poll. I'm going to put up a poll here shortly. Take the poll. Let's read some of the comments under this video. Raiding their place with police for a rescued squirrel and raccoon because of some online bullies is insanity. Who ordered the raid and who gave the order to kill the world's most famous and beloved squirrel? The people demand accountability and justice. He went from saving animals to exposing government corruption real quick. And there are actually still people who say the government isn't tyrannical. This is a shining example of tyranny. Next one. They raided and killed his beloved pet, sick, evil. Next. Raiding someone's home for a squirrel, miserable, disgusting government. Next. He had the squirrel for 7 years indoors. I'd say it's safe to say he didn't have rabies. Sounds like someone with a personal issue against the owner caused this. Next. This story pretty much sums up the state of this country. Completely ignore all the real problems and chaos, but go after someone for something so petty. This is so despicable and sickening. Next, this is the senseless killing. Anyone involved should be charged. Animal cruelty. Okay. This is beyond fucked up. Shame on the judge that signed the warrant. Next, horrific cruelty committed by inhumane overreach of the government. I'm disgusted how our tax money is abused to destroy this trusting bond between a caring human and a raccoon and a beloved squirrel crying emoji. Weigh in. Should they have gone in? Should they have assessed the situation in a different manner? But they say you can't test the animals alive. So the animals had to be euthanized in order to test them for rabies. Obviously, Cuomo is an animal person. He likes animals. He's watched the video, heard of this guy, or whichsoever, and he wants to help him financially himself. The owner Mr. Longo has a rescue ministry for animals. That's why he moved to New York from Connecticut. 300 animals saved. Now we got to ask what's going to happen with those animals. Is there going to be some type of backlash or downfall with him having this rescue place? Because, you know, they'll probably want documents, papers. He obviously has a nice house from what you see in the video. Please go to News Nation, my community page, to check out the video. Seems like he had a very nice home, very clean, neat, aesthetic. But then people are still going to say the flip side is the animal is running around. Okay? The animal is running around. It's jumping all over stuff that you eat and touch. He had it in a dish with some type of grains or something that the squirrel was sitting in, playing in. People are still going to say, those who are either animal advocates or not animal advocates, well, it's still unsanitary to have a wild animal, rat family, and Queen don't do rats. Don't get me started on that. But anyway, it's running around in places where people touch and eat. And that's where Mr. Longo is not using his head. Don't matter if you like animals or not. It's a wild animal. And whether we believe it had rabies or not, it had rabies or not, the point is, did you check it? Well, how's he going to check it if they say you can't check it unless it's dead? This is crazy. I don't know anything about rabies, but I brought you the information at the beginning of this live stream, so feel free to go back to the beginning to hear of the animals. Bats, raccoons, deer, all type of animals can get rabies. Don't touch them. Don't go play Captain Save-A-Ho, which that's what he did. And it's so funny, that's in the Google search. Don't go on the road to touch the animal, pick up the animal. He did just that. The mama got hit, hurt. He went and grabbed the babies. Grabbed the baby. Now he's been scrutinized. The animal was on, I guess, YouTube, TikTok, different places. I'm drowning up here. Queen is drowning. Let me bring you some information about this squirrel and raccoon. Thank you for joining me, everybody. Hello, everybody in the chat. Woo! What a story. So weigh in. That's Peanut. P-N-U-T. Should the animal have been euthanized alongside the raccoon? Should they have handled this in a different manner? The animals were going to be put down either way. So he was going to be upset if they didn't go in and tear up the house and move stuff around and go through closet doors and under the mattress and go through files, paperwork. Because I don't like people tearing up people's houses. Because like he said, he's not a drug dealer. He's not, allegedly, he's not using drugs. He's not selling drugs. You're there because of a squirrel and a raccoon. Don't tear up my house. You're not here for anything nefarious like drug trafficking, things like that, essay, whatever. Don't tear up my damn house. Look, that's Queen, okay? Don't tear up my damn house. I don't give a damn about a squirrel or this or that. What you here for? Just don't tear up my shit, okay? Because I got to put it all back together after you threw everything everywhere and throw it in the floor. It looks like I said, it looks like he had a very nice home. So I get where he's coming from because he's the owner. You've violated him. You've come in his home. You're ransacking his place all over a squirrel and a raccoon and whatever else somebody's complained. So let's start at the beginning. Who complained? Why did they complain? Is it somebody mad at him, mad at his wife, mad at the rescue ministry? What is the deal? Is it because they feel like there are wild animals running around his house? It's unsanitary. It's not up to par. And I will agree. Whether I like animals or not, it's nobody's business. Don't care. I'm not for a wild animal running around here. Okay? Like I just said. The squirrel, all that, they're the rat family. I just can't see no squirrel running around up here. I don't want it in here running around in the bed. That's just me. Okay? He has to tell himself, you always have to think beyond your own feelings and emotions about anything you're doing on social media. Just like I'm up here, there's always going to be somebody that's going to be in disagreement. There's always going to be somebody that wants to report the video. There's always somebody that wants to complain. There's always somebody that wants to sue. That's the world we live in. It doesn't matter what you're talking about. No matter if you're talking about politics or squirrel, there's always a damn complaint. So long as you are up here with a camera talking about whatever, there will be a complaint. And that's what he should have known. That once you walked around filming yourself with a wild raccoon, squirrel in your house, there was going to be somebody that was going to complain. Now, how long he's been on social media, I don't know. But he had to have known this day would come. Just saying, because it's just what people do. So this is an internet sensation, Peanut the squirrel, who's been put down. Peanut the squirrel of internet fame has been euthanized after the pet was seized by New York State earlier this week, according to the Department of Environmental Conservation. The 7-year-old gray squirrel, rescue squirrel, commonly referred as Peanut, on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok was put to death along with Fred the raccoon so that the animals could be tested for the presence of rabies, according to a statement from the agency obtained by WETM. Peanut's guardian, Mark Longo, took to Instagram to memorialize his beloved pet in a video. Through tears, Longo, with his girlfriend at his side, said Peanut was the best thing that ever happened to us. Ooh, wow. Rest in peace, my best friend. Thank you for the best 7 years of my life. Thank you for bringing so much joy to us and the world. I'm sorry I failed you, but thank you for everything, Longo wrote in a caption to the post announcing Peanut's death. Longo also asked fans for financial help for a legal battle for his nonprofit Peanut's Freedom Farm. The D.E.C. claims that Peanut, who was notably docile and friendly over the course of his public life, friendly over the course of his very public-facing life, bit one of the investigators on the hand while being confiscated from his Elmira home on Wednesday. Here's a picture. Peanut in the kitchen with a waffle. There's Mr. Longo and Peanut playing around in the kitchen, which is probably a no-no for many people. A lot of you let your cats and dogs roam in your house. We're going to talk about all of that. He said Peanut had a healthy appetite and was known for munching on waffles. Okay. In addition, a person involved with the investigation was bitten by the squirrel. To test for rabies, both animals were euthanized. The animals are being tested for rabies, and anyone who has been in contact with these animals is strongly encouraged to consult their physician, the D.E.C. statement read, according to WETM. Peanut was rescued by guardian Mark Longo after the Connecticut native witnessed Peanut's mother hit by a car. The resilient and adorable Peanut inspired Longo to move to upstate New York last year and found Peanut's Freedom Farm, an animal sanctuary and rescue operation. On Wednesday, Peanut and Fred the raccoon were seized by the Department of Environmental Conservation after multiple anonymous complaints. Repeat. Peanut and Fred the raccoon were seized by the D.E.C. after anonymous complaints, plural, about wild animals living in the Longo house. So how many animals did they have total in the house? How many total on the property as rescue animals? Were they secure, the rescue animals, where he had them on the property? How big is the property? How many acres? Who filed the report? How many complaints were there? Did he have complaints? How many complaints? Let's go there. How many complaints? Well, Internet, you won, capital letters. Longo wrote in a caption after the animals were seized. You took one of the most amazing animals away from me because of your selfishness. To the group of people who called D.E.C., there's a special place in hell for you, Longo added. In a statement to the Post on Wednesday, the D.E.C. said they were responding to complaints of a rabies vector species that was in a home, namely Fred the raccoon. So Fred was more of the complaint. What's the difference between a raccoon and a squirrel? Nothing. They're both wild. New York Post is the source. Now, some of you may not know much about wild animals. I don't. I have no reason to know. But I always like to bring information pertaining to the content that I bring. So rabies vector species is the reason for the seizing of the property, going to the property, seizing the animals, putting them down, testing them for rabies, because they are a rabies vector species vector type, rabies vector species, RVS. Animals that transmit rabies virus, fatal virus disease that affects the brain and central nervous system. Wild carnivores, raccoons, skunks, foxes, coyotes, bobcats, beavers, bats, a common carrier of rabies. I think most of us know this. Other mammals, woodchucks, deer, other large carnivores, stray or feral animals, cats. Rabies can also infect unvaccinated domesticated dogs or cats. So they may feel like, hey, We don't know that you took this squirrel and raccoon in to get tested and got shots or whatever. But the flip side is you can't test for rabies because they got to be put down. That's what the government is saying. So as I said, I'm only reading what is being said. I don't know. I don't have wild animals to know what to do. I'm not going to have a wild animal in my house. No way. Y'all know how Queen robbed. And I don't mean to be disrespectful or rude to people who like animals, but I'm not an animal person. Was I raised around animals? Yes. Grandparents had animals, dogs, had a pet dog when I was younger. But my thing, I'm not a pet person. I don't have pets. I don't want a pet. If you want a pet, that's your prerogative. This issue is about wild animals running around a house. So Fred the raccoon seems to be the focus of this investigation. But I don't see what's the difference between Fred and Peanut. They're both wild animals. So what's the difference between you complaining about Fred? Is it because Fred wasn't shown the most on social media? Help the Queen understand. I'm confused. So, once again, rabies can affect unvaccinated domestic animals like dogs, cats, livestock. Rabies vector species can carry the virus without showing symptoms, Mr. Cuomo. Since you're so worried about, I didn't see anybody with any symptoms. I didn't see you or the dog or cat or monkey, with symptoms. You could be asymptom. Signs of rabies in mammals include unprovoked aggression, difficulty walking, impaired movement, and unusual vocalizations. Once again, if you find a sick or injured RVS, you should not handle it if it is alert to your presence, able to move around easily, unsafe location for rescue, like in the middle of the road, which is exactly how he got Peanut. Foxes, skunks, raccoons, groundhogs, bats are rabies vector species, can carry the rabies virus without showing any typical symptoms. It is important to handle these animals with caution. If you need to rescue one, use gloves, towels, other thick materials. Now, I will agree with Mr. Longo for the Asian that got bit. You should have had gloves up to here that were insulated, that wouldn't penetrate your skin if bitten by a wild animal. You're supposed to know that. So I will agree with him on that. And the animal probably is going to bite you because of the obvious. It's a wild animal. 2, he doesn't know you. He's used to this man and his wife. So now let's think about that. Could a random person have walked in there, such as these agents, I was about to say DEA, these agents come in, well, somebody else have gotten bitten by the raccoon, the squirrel. Have these animals bitten anybody else that have come into their home? Let's ask that question. Lord, what a hot butter mess. You can't make this stuff up. Let's put the poll up right quick. Then we'll read some more information. Let's take the poll, everybody. Let's take the poll. Peanut. Jesus. I can't. I'm not trying to laugh, but it just showed you the things that make the news. Damn. Anything can make the news. Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon. Right or wrong? Take the poll. Will he seek legal counsel? I'm sure he will. Will he sue the state agency? I'm sure he will. Will he get compensation? We will. All right. Take the poll, everybody. Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon were put down, right or wrong? Not into squirrels or raccoons. Sounds excessive all around, says Mary. Wanda, you're crazy. This story is the best Cuomo does, shaking my head. Well, it's national news. It made the news because he had the animal on social media, TikTok, different things, Instagram. So that's why it's a topic of conversation. Also, news update pertaining to the killer of Young Dolph the rapper. One of the killers has been sentenced, as most of you know, and he has gotten a sentence of 50 years for the murder of the late rapper. Okay? Wow, wow, wow. Let's see what else we can find out about Peanut the squirrel, because there's a lot going on. Overkill. This one comment he's got. Latest update, Lori Vallow Daybell wants to represent herself in court. As they say, a person that wants to represent himself has a fool for an attorney and a client. So none of us should be shocked by that. Once again, Young Thug, the rapper, he is now free, 15 years probation and on house arrest. There we have it. I'm going to bring you another update pertaining to this news. WENY TV is the source.
Media has lived with his human family for nearly 7 years. Well, on Wednesday, Peanut was seized by the D.E.C., and now almost 20,000 people have signed a petition to bring Peanut home. WENY's Alicia Solorzano spoke with Longo, the owner, about his run-in with the D.E.C. and tells us what he had to say.
A beloved squirrel named Peanut and his owner, Mark Longo, have amassed hundreds of thousands of followers across various social media platforms. However, on October 30th, the D.E.C. came to Longo's house with a warrant to take Peanut, and his fate at this time is unknown. Now, Longo is left searching for answers.
And to take Peanut away from my family is not only, heart-wrenching, but then you take it away from the organization that solely gets its funding from social media that requires Peanut to get that funding. And without that, I really don't know how I'm going to be able to continue to get donations outside of that. So you didn't just ruin my family, you ruined an organization that has saved over 300 animals in its first year.
Longo said the New York State DEC showed up to his house with a search warrant yesterday morning. He said they seized Peanut and a raccoon that he was helping to nurse back to health.
My next step is to be contacted. DEC, the state, nobody has reached out to me to say anything. I don't know if Peanut is alive or they euthanized him. I don't know if he's located down the street or he's halfway across the country.
WENY News reached out to the DEC and received the following statement. Quote, following multiple reports from the public about the potentially unsafe housing of wildlife that could carry rabies and the illegal keeping of wildlife as pets, DEC conducted an investigation. DEC's investigation is ongoing, and additional information will be provided as it becomes available.
I know the laws are the laws and the rules are the rules, but the fact of the matter is they brought 8 officers here who ransacked my house for a squirrel and a raccoon, and made me sit outside where I wasn't allowed to use the bathroom without a police escort. I thought that was a little excessive for a raccoon and a squirrel, but that might just be my opinion.
Well, the fight among the public to bring Peanut home is still ongoing. However, Longo says he just hopes to cooperate with the state, find some common ground with officials, and keep Peanut's Freedom Farm and Animal Sanctuary up and running to help take care of any animals in need. Reporting from Pine City, I'm Alicia Solorzano, WENY News.
Well, that was a day ago. As you know now, the animals were euthanized and put down as to test them for rabies. You have to ask all the specific questions. Number one, you move from one state to another to have this rescue organization for animals. What you have to say to yourself, sir, Mr. Longo, the place where you now live, New York, the jurisdiction, more than likely you cannot have wild animals in your possession inside of a domain, not out here on earth outside. That's fine. You obviously have a nice spread to have wild animals. Check out this video. You'll see nice animals outside. You'll see animals, a nice spread of property is what I'm trying to say, acres. It's enough for animals to run around. So that's probably fine. But you also got to comply with laws and regulations. So now you got to say to yourself, even with the rescue, do you have to have a license or do you have to have a permit? I don't know. I don't know New York law. So I'm just asking all those questions. But inside, I think in most jurisdictions, township, city, town, city, it don't matter. You cannot have a wild animal inside of the house once it has gotten out. And that's it. Now, there's a video that just popped up by the channel The Koala, and it has Rescue Squirrel and Dad do everything together, Peanut the squirrel. So he really was into this animal, this squirrel. It's a nice sized squirrel from what I can see. But I'm just going to be honest, because I can't be anything but that, because that's just who Queen is. Whether the animal has rabies or not, he is a rabied animal. That's just law. Nature. Has nothing to do with you, Mr. Longo. Has nothing to do with Queen. It is a wild animal that you have running around your house and in your possession. So whether you feel sick, don't feel like you've gotten sick, don't know if he has rabies, don't know if you have rabies, the wife has rabies. The point is that we're not supposed to have wild animals inside of our home. And I'm assuming most states have that law. That's first and foremost. Number two, the propensity to get sick because it's a wild animal. You don't factor in that, because you're doing what most Americans do. You're thinking about yourself. You're thinking, well, I saw the animal, it was wounded, I took it in. I took it into my house, and now I see that you have a cat in there. So that's a problem. That's a problem. Because as I read you all the Google information, they are a threat to other domesticated animals. So, yeah, that's going to be a problem to have a wild squirrel running around the house with another animal that's domesticated, such as a cat or a dog. And you can't see that, because your mantra would be, well, I love animals. I saw it was wounded. I took it in. But see, that's the thing we have to understand. It's that it's not about us. It's about the safety of the animal and the safety of hygienic practices and safety of other animals. So you have another animal in your house. You couldn't test for this rabies because they say the animals have to be deceased in order to test for them. You're kissing on it. You're hugging on it. It's crawling all over you. It's in your house. So now we got to ask the obvious question. Where does it go to the bathroom? It's all on top of the refrigerator. Sitting in the window with the cat. The cat ain't doing nothing but just looking at it. I don't even see the cat interacting with the squirrel. Just keeping it real. That's probably why people complained. I think people complain for that very reason. One, it's not hygienic. Two, it's a wild animal, and against most townships, cities, laws to have a wild animal in your home. And three, you have it around another domesticated animal. Okay, now it's in the refrigerator. I'm just looking at the video that is from the Koala channel. Feel free to check it out, because I don't want any copyright claims for this information. But he's showing the squirrel move around. The squirrel is fast. You've seen squirrels crawling around the streets, going up trees, going up here, there, jumping on walls. They're quick. Rat family too. Stay woke. That thing is jumping around. So it's spreading hair, all that, like any other animal. Cat, dogs, all the same. But it's around other animals in your house. I would assume you've had other people in your house visiting, children, family members. You got to think about respiratory diseases, all those type of things. Glutton for punishment. That's what we have here. Now, as I said, whenever the government comes to your house, it don't really matter what they're there for. They're going to tear up some shit. They're going to go through stuff, pull stuff apart, lift up mattresses, go through closets, pull your clothes out. Yeah, I'd be pissed too. But it really wouldn't matter. They're looking for documents, drugs, whatever. This is what the government does. I'm not the government, so. Now, somebody commented under here. I can't believe they use law enforcement resources to capture a squirrel that's perfectly happy sitting in someone's home that we have come to, whatever, question mark. I never thought I would be radicalized over a squirrel, but here we are. Somebody replied. Amen. Okay. Peanut will forever be in our hearts. As for people behind this act, we hope you find it in your hearts that what you did was wrong. Well, what people have to understand is that the law is the law. Somebody complained, and then a judge signed off on the warrant. So if I'm the agent working for the agency, I just do what I'm told to do. I don't have to agree with the warrant. That's what you always got to remember about a warrant being signed. It's a complaint, investigation, and then the judge signs the warrant. Those are the people who are enacting the paperwork to go forward, to go to his house or anybody else's house. So if you're the agent, you don't have anything to do with the warrant itself. You're just doing your job. You're told to go over here, just like the police officer, same thing. You're told to go over here because a warrant was put out for Pookie, Ray Ray, Susie Mae, whatever the situation is. So you're just doing your job. Where there's a problem is if you get, jiggy on your job and you act a donkey's ass while going to the house, raiding it, doing whatever you have to do. So that's a separate situation. So if people want to be angry, you have to be angry with, number one, the person that complained, the investigator for this agency, and then the judge, because the judge is the one that signed the warrant. Well, it is illegal, Mary. That's what Mr. Longo doesn't understand, because this goes back to anything pertaining to human beings. We have our feelings about whatever, and we do not have to agree with the laws of the land. But the law says you can't have a wild animal in your house. Most states, I believe, would say you cannot. And while we're on that subject, I'm going to go ahead and Google search that so we can get a better understanding pertaining to the laws. Thank you for joining me. Welcome to the Vault Excel. How many states have laws about wild animals in your home? Four states. 4 states have no laws on keeping dangerous wild animals: Alabama, Nevada, North Carolina, and Wisconsin. Repeat: Alabama, Nevada, North Carolina, Wisconsin. 6 states do not ban or regulate keeping big cats: Alabama, Nevada, North Carolina, Wisconsin, Delaware, Oklahoma. 21 states ban all dangerous exotic pets, while the rest allow certain species or require permits. There you have it. In what states can you legally own a raccoon? It is legal to own a pet raccoon in the following 19 states: Arkansas, Delaware, Florida, Illinois, Indiana, Michigan, Nebraska, New Jersey, Ohio, Oklahoma, Rhode Island, South Carolina, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Vermont, West Virginia, Wisconsin, and Wyoming. Not Connecticut nor New York. Who has the strictest exotic pets laws? Pet laws. Hawaii. For the most part, all exotic animals are illegal in Hawaii. The prohibited animal lists include bears, large cats, wild canines, wild cat, wild dog hybrids, kangaroos, wild cattle, deer, birds, prey, alligators, geckos, lizards, most lizards, hedgehogs, gerbils, hamsters, and even ferrets. Then they go on to talk about where you can get a skunk, fox, other wild animals. It's all in the Google search. So let's see. What states can you have a pet squirrel? Squirrels are considered exotic animals, and many Americans do enjoy keeping them as pets. In some states, you can own a pet squirrel with no paperwork or permits required. Arkansas, Idaho, Louisiana, New Mexico, Oklahoma, Tennessee, Utah, Virginia, West Virginia, and Wyoming all allow people to own pet squirrels. So he is not in a state where you can have a pet squirrel or raccoon as an inside indoor pet. He lived in Connecticut, then moved to New York to have this rescue ministry. So he was living in 2 states that would not allow wild animals as pets. That's the commentary. Thank you for joining me. Kitchen counter. Yes, Mary. That's what I'm saying. And I don't think like I said, he's doing his own thing. He's in his own world. He's living for Mr. Longo, he and the wife. So they're not looking at the fact that you are viral. You're on the internet. There are people watching. And there are some of us, whether we like animals, don't like animals, have animals, don't have animals, it's common sense. The kitchen area, okay? It's not a place for pets. A lot of you allow your pets to roam in your kitchen. A lot of you allow your cats to jump up on the countertops. That's nasty. It's nasty. You don't have to like it. It's the truth. And we are all filthy animals because we sneeze, we have to wipe our nose, we have mucus everywhere. Eyes, nose, mouth, throat, ears, private parts. We have body odors. We slough off skin. So what do you think happens with an animal? It coughs, sneezes, whatever. It's got to go to the bathroom. That's another thing. Where does it urinate and defecate? It's an animal. Exactly. Straight from their litter box. And people don't think about that. You're just thinking of you. I love my cat. I love my dog. But you're not using common sense. Your animal has to go to the restroom. And people always said cats were the cleanest animals. How are they clean? It sits in its own shit. Just keeping it real. It sits in its own litter, covers it up, which all that's airborne. You kicking that litter in a open litter box. Boo-boo urine is airborne. Pregnant women are told not to even handle cat litter because your bowel movement is lethal. This is why we have cross-contamination from plants, vegetables, food, touching stuff, going to the bathroom. You understand what I'm saying? So now you have a whole wild animal jumping around in your house. Same thing with a domesticated animal. And yes, cats, at that great point, jump out the litter box. They're now walking around on your bed, on your floors, where they just used the restroom. So I don't know how anybody would think that's hygienic. That is not. That is not. And that's a domesticated animal, a cat. Now we're talking about a wild ass squirrel, raccoon. So I'm going to say it again to Mr. Longo. Where does your animal use the restroom, sir? You have trained the raccoon and the squirrel to urinate and defecate where? Now, from all appearances, his house looked clean, what we saw, a few clips of the video, but that has nothing to do with an animal. An animal has to use the restroom just like a human. So we have to ask, logically speaking, where are these animals urinating and defecating, sir? Because I did not see that squirrel jumping around with a diaper on. Come on with it, Quay. And I didn't see the squirrel. I didn't see the raccoon in any of these clips that are being shown. So where's the raccoon? Were you showing the squirrel more? Maybe somebody got jealous and said, he's only showing the squirrel. He don't show the raccoon. I don't know. I don't watch his content. Just asking. This is a hot butter mess. You're entitled to your opinion pertaining to the raid on his house, the seizing of the animals, and putting the animals down. But he is in a state that does not allow wild animals to be pets. I read you those said states. New York, Connecticut were not those states. So right there was his problem. You're in a state that has laws prohibiting wild animals as domesticated pets. There you go.
A gun on a cop.
NBC is the next source. Thank you for joining me. Will he sue New York State?
Looking for his famous squirrel.
I'm just going through my daily routine of feeding all of our 71 rescue horses at our nonprofit animal rescue. Midway through that, a line of D.E.C officers, about 6 to 8 of them, showed up and gave me a warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon.
The search warrant said Longo was in unlawful possession of wildlife. He says agents ransacked his property for 5 hours until they found Peanut and Fred the raccoon.
We complied. We weren't allowed to move. We were police escorted into the bathroom. Mind you, this is a search warrant for a squirrel and a raccoon. And I feel like this was a little bit of an overkill.
Longo says he was working on the necessary paperwork to be able to legally own Peanut as an educational animal.
You're not only hurting my family by taking Peanut away from me, but you're also hurting the organization that we started on the back of a rescue squirrel. We named this organization Peanut's Freedom Farm because he has been such a big portion of my life and so many people around the world. You know, we promoted the fact that squirrels are not good pets. They don't deserve to be inside, but there are rare occasions where you stumble on an animal that unfortunately can't survive in their normal habitat. That's the only reason why Peanut was ever a rescue animal.
Longo says he rescued Peanut 7 years ago in New York City after the squirrel's mom was hit by a car. He says he rehabbed Peanut and tried to release him into his backyard.
What a story.
But Longo says Peanut never developed the instincts to survive outside. After Peanut was attacked by an animal and lost half his tail, Longo let Peanut live in his home.
And then he became best friends with my cat. So that's when we turned to social media. We put some funny and silly videos out there, and the internet loved him. He became the world's most famous squirrel.
Peanut racked up a combined 3 million followers on TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram. Longo says he believes Peanut's fame led to someone filing a complaint.
I'm no expert in anything involving politics of the state, but they sent 6 to 8 officers to my house from Albany to confiscate a squirrel and a raccoon, and it was signed off on a search warrant. So just that and
this is unbelievable. I swear, I'm just like, what is going on?
The shocking things I could say, in my opinion, is we just used resources and spent an entire day sitting 2 people who run a nonprofit animal rescue and treat them like criminals.
Thanks for watching. Stay up.
Hold on. These phones are so tricky. Well, weigh in, everybody. That is Peanut the squirrel. He is no longer alive. He was seized by agency. He and his pal, Fred the raccoon. Weigh in. But now you're going to use resources to sue. Exactly. So that's a very good point, Mary. So now you have a rescue agency that you've started to rescue wild animals. And that's a very good point, Mary. Very damn good point. Thank you. Now the resources from the public, from donations to help run the rescue for the animals, you're not going to take for legal trouble for a squirrel and a raccoon to fight in court. Very good point. Because basically, it's a double-edged sword. He's saying, you putting down the raccoon and the squirrel, you killed my moneymaker, plural. I make money donations from the squirrel, from TikTok videos, blah, blah, blah. I also take that same money and run the mission for the animals. So now you've killed my money maker and my money to run the mission for the animals. Are you all following? Now, as Mary says, he needs money donations to fight a legal battle to sue the government for the raid and euthanizing the animals. Damn. It's a hustle within a hustle, is it not? Weigh in. Mary says it, 2 wrongs don't make a right. Well, that's where we are. Welcome to the Vault Excel. Let's go to my community page and see what you all have said pertaining to the animals. Thank you. Wow. I'm not trying to be rude, but Lord have mercy. This is a hot butter mess. I ain't lying. Lord have mercy. I don't know what to say. 11 people have voted. Hello, Jean. Thank you for joining me. Peanut the squirrel and Fred the raccoon were put down. Right or wrong? Right, 18%. 55% of you said wrong. 27% of you said you're not sure. 11 votes. Take the poll. Be heard. Matter of fact, let me see if I can do something during the live stream. Let's see. Well, let me hit it. Go to my studio. Happy Saturday. That's all I can say. Happy Saturday. Because this is interesting. I want to try to put up, I can't put it up. Oh, if I stream from my phone, then I would have been able to do it from my computer. So I'm on the computer, so I can't do it. Okay. I was trying to figure out a way where I could put up the poll during the live stream. Well, it is what it is. Take the poll, everybody. Go to my community page and take the poll. Weigh in. Tell me how you feel. Should the government, as I said, it's the person that complained, whoever investigated the case, and the judge, because it's the judge that makes the decision on the warrants. That's what you always have to remember about a crime, alleged crime, allegation. The person that makes the complaint, the investigator, the district attorney, and the judge. Can't leave the district attorney out. So it's a step. It's their step. So it's a process. So it ain't just somebody running in your house, shooting you, shooting cows and donkeys and rabbits and shit. It's a process. Somebody complained. Somebody investigated. Somebody took it to the district attorney, and then the district attorney took it to the judge. So you can't get mad at the agents because they're doing their job. They went in because it doesn't matter. They don't know him. They don't know anything about a squirrel, a coyote. See where I'm going? They don't know nothing. They don't know this man. They just do their job. Hey, you're going over here to this house to seize this, this, and this. That's it. But basically right now, what he's going to be doing, he and his wife, is robbing Peter to pay Paul. They're not going to take donations to fight a legal battle over a squirrel and a raccoon. So money will have to be ciphered between legally fighting this and also helping the rescue mission for the animals. And that's going to be a problem because I don't know how much it costs to feed his animals, to caring of the animals, taking care of the animals. I'm sure it's expensive. Most of you know, taking care of wild animals for rescue, for business, it's costly. To feed a cow, pigs, horses, that's money. Okay? That's money. You got to have income to do that. So I don't know if he has a regular job I would hope he has a regular job. The fact that he had to move, he moved or whatever, he and his wife, they've got to have some income because they cannot just solely rely on donations for a rescue ministry. Unless, he's got some really nice fans and people in the city and the townships like rescuing money. Maybe he's getting money from the government to, run this rescue ministry for the animals. But the point is, it's a double-edged sword now because you're going to have to dig in whatever you get, from wherever, to now fight legally about the animals put down, the squirrel and the raccoon. That's what I got today. Feel free to go back to the beginning of this live stream to get the information about which animals are not allowed, that are considered rabies species. I mentioned it 2 times during this live. I also give you the states where certain animals are allowed, not allowed. Hawaii does not allow any wild animals to be your pet in your house. I also tell you where a raccoon can be housed in a house, and also where a squirrel can be legal in your house. Feel free to watch this live stream to get all of the said information if indeed you want to own a wild ass animal. And I'm just going to say, I don't know why anybody wants a tiger, a wild boar. You can't have these type of animals in your house. I don't recommend it. We've seen what happens with the guys who, tame the tigers and all of those type of nonsense for the circus and all that. They end up turning on them, mauling them, because you are thinking for self. And that is something that I don't understand with people. They tell you don't feed the bears. You feed them anyway. You leave food in your car in the mountains, in the woods, knowing they'll break the windows out to get the food. Why do you test nature? And that's a video I want to make because it is time for us to stop being so self-absorbed about the universe. About the universe. Stop testing nature. You go hiking, you don't tell anybody. You want to go to the highest peak of a mountain in winter, knowing you can freeze to death, pass out from the altitude. You don't care. Camping in the middle of nowhere without a plan. Say it again, Queen. Camping, hiking without appropriate gear, without food. Once again, without a plan for a worst case scenario. Oh, I'll be coming back down the mountain. No, you won't. That's your assertion. Why can't you accept nature for what she is worth? I'm sick of the bullshit. As I said, I'm sick of the excuses that we give as humans for why we do the fucked up shit we do. We have got to stop thinking about us and think of common sense. You want to go out in the middle of the ocean and you see a storm is coming. It's stormy. I want to take my boat out. Why? Why? Just like the girls who got stuck in the canyon. You're sitting here climbing rocks with fucking sandals on and get merged between the rocks, filming it live. And you're lucky you got rescued. And you don't think about the person who has to rescue you, what he or she has to endure to get you out of this small crack that you are now stuck between. Make it make sense. When you get stuck in the mountains because you hiked, got sick, got cold, got lost, hypothermia, get attacked by a wild animal, whatever, somebody now's got to go in to rescue you and find you. So now that person is risking his or her life because of your dumbass actions. This is where I'm fed up. I'm sick of these hiking, camping stories. I'm sick of them. because you're risking the life of another human to come save you, and that should not be their journey in life. Yes, they signed up, just like these agents signed up to rescue animals, to seize things, DEA agents, whomever, that's their job. But a lot of these jobs, such as hiking, camping, you getting stuck on a rock, a cliff, you did that. Nothing from nature came up out the ground, swooped you up, and took you to the cliff, took you to the river, took you to the lake, took you to the ocean. Nobody told you to go to some fucking place like Saskatchewan to climb the highest peak. Oh, I want to go look at the polar bears. The polar bear don't want to see you. He ain't holding on to his own habitat. The fuck he want to see you for? Yeah, I'm getting crunk now. Because I'm sick of the stories. Because you are endangering your own life that you obviously don't care about. You don't care about your friends, your family, who are going to be sitting worried, wondering where you are, wondering if you're going to get help if they find out you're stranded, hurt, harmed, and then you're not thinking of the person who now has to go in to rescue your dumb ass. I live near the mountains. Tennessee is a beautiful place. I live in East Tennessee, near the Smoky Mountains. I ain't lost nothing up there. Let me make that clear. People come here from all over the world to see the Smoky Mountains, to hike, to camp, to sightsee, take pictures, stay in an Airbnb, the cabins. That's their choice. They decide to go hike to the highest peak. Their choice. But they have to know the ramifications for going into no man's land where the animals roam, which is their land. Yes, their habitat. You ain't got no business up there. I said that. You think about carving a road into the mountains, such as what happened with the storms. North Carolina closed down, Tennessee closed. That's a tunnel to get to North Carolina from Tennessee. You got to go through a fucking tunnel, which is carved into a mountain. And I don't think nobody thinks about that. The times we've crawled through the tunnel to get to North Carolina, we don't even think that that motherfucking tunnel could cave in while we're driving through it. Dangerous. Dangerous road, okay? Excuse me. Wait a minute. Nose is running. Hold on. Oh, Lord. To get me some tissue down here. Ugh. But dangerous. Nobody thinks about that. How dangerous it is to go through a mountain where a road has been carved so you can get to the other state. And it never occurred to anybody the rocks could fall while we're on the interstate, going and coming. The tunnel itself could cave in. That's my point. Every day we take for granted living. Earthquakes, sinkholes, tornadoes, heavy rain, flooding. Rivers overflowing, which you saw here, East Tennessee, North Carolina, Western North Carolina. Trees falling, electrical, burn your house up, trees tear your house up. So why would you want to willingly, go into the abyss and fight nature? Tell me why. Oh, I think I want to go take a drive through Death Valley. Why? Why? 130 degrees and you don't have a gas station, a slushy bar, no Calvary. That's my point. No Calvary. Stop testing nature and expect the cavalry to come in and save you, because nature didn't send for you. She didn't ask your ass to come out into the desert to horse ass around. She didn't ask you to climb to the highest peak. She didn't ask you to get on her waters. She didn't ask you to horse around in the lake and the river drunk on your boat. She didn't tell you to jump in the ravine, the quarry, because you want to goof off and have a good time. She didn't tell you to go hiking and camping unprepared. You did that. You selfish person, selfish narcissist. You did that. And you need to own your part. Because why should somebody else, plural, go out here and risk their life on top of water, land, sea, the mountains, to rescue you? Because you want to be a show-off. Yeah, I said that. Because some of you are show-offs. Oh, I can do it. I can climb. I've got the stamina. I can go to the highest peak. I can make it. People have lost limbs going on to peaks, temperature below low zero, to prove a point. Why? Oh, I can swim around the world. I can do it. I'm fit. You see athletes every day falling dead from strokes, heart attacks, catching leg cramps from swimming, running, bicycling, because this is just flesh. Let me enlighten you. This is just a human body. It is not a toy. It's not a robot. It is not a doll. It can succumb to anything. Disease, war, famine, whatever. So stop treating this as if it is invincible, as if it is replaceable, because it's not. And I hope somebody out there understands what I'm saying and they adhere, because we are selfish creatures and we have got to stop being so selfish to where we would endanger our own safety and the safety of other people. This is the very reason why I like to ride solo dolo, such as with all this storm stuff going on. I wish the hell I would ever be in a car with you and you're driving and you see standing water and you want to drive through. I got this, queen. I got this. No, the hell you don't. I'm getting ready to get out your car. I'm leery like that. Don't drive me through no standing water so I can fucking drown. I don't want to drive with you at night. You don't know where you're going. That's how that cop and that woman drowned not too long ago. He was new from New York, working out in Monroe County or whatever, Loudoun County, as a police officer. He's talking on the phone to his wife, texting and shit. He drove right into the motherfucking lake. Dark 30 outside. He drives right into a lake. Because one, he didn't know where the hell he was, and he wasn't paying attention. So he had an inmate in the back of his car, a woman he had just arrested for a domesticated argument, and she died in the back seat of that fucking patrol car, fucking with this stupid ass officer. That's my point. Don't orchestrate my life. And I didn't mean to get off topic, but I'm trying to show you something about who we are as people. We are selfish. We are self-absorbed. And that's why this man, Mr. Longo, is in the situation he is in over a dead squirrel and a dead raccoon, because he thought of self first. He knows damn well wild animals don't belong in your house. God put them outside for a reason. Come on with it, Quinn. I'm going to preach now. They're outside for a reason, Mr. Longo. Don't know if you believe in God or not. If you believe in the nature of the land and the way the land is designed. And now the earth is telling us, I can do what I want to do. I can raise that water up and I can push toward land, wipe all of you out. I've done it and I'll do it again. I can swirl around the earth and knock down a building, pick up a car, pick up a tractor trailer and flip it. I can have the water rise to flip a tractor trailer, a car. I can have you buried in mud and murk. As we just found the Hispanic lady who worked for the plastics company up the road, she was just found the other day, 1 month later, side of a highway. 1 month missing from the hailing storms. She went missing from Tennessee, fell in the water, and went missing. Obviously, she drowned. Prayers to her family. And there's still other people missing to this day from Western North Carolina. That's the point I'm trying to make. They didn't ask for what happened to them. So why would you want to go test nature? Wild animals don't belong in your house. God put them out here for a reason. It is man who has decided it's okay to, one, intermingle with wild animals, bring wild animals into the house and try to raise it as a domesticated animal. Same thing with a cat or a dog. You just feel like that animal is going to do what you think it should do. No, you're thinking as a human. That's an animal. So if a dog can attack you and you've had it for years, what the fuck do you think a wild animal will do that you're now trying to domesticate? Make it make sense, because it doesn't make sense. Say it again, Queen. A wild animal is domesticated to still turn on you because it's a wild animal. A domesticated animal will turn on you because you thought that he wouldn't. Exactly, Mary. A lack of respect. You said that. We are disrespectful creatures. Are we not? We think for us and not others and not animals and not the world and the universe. We are always trying to defy logic and defy the earth. That's why I believe the earth defies us. Scientists can come up with all type of terminology for why water pushes up, how a hurricane begins, how a tornado begins, but in the end, she will tear your ass down. And some would think, hell, this is like the devil. Judge it how you want. But we are cruel people. And I think the earth is getting retribution. Rather, scientists have a logical reason for why water pushed up, tornado began, hurricane began, water kept coming out the sky, but there still was a ramification for the tornado, the hurricane, the rainfall, the lakes, rivers piling up. That water has to go somewhere. Levees break, dams break. Stay woke. It's the earth saying, I'm tired. You all don't give a fuck about nothing, no way. What do you care about anything? Because one, you don't listen. You're a narcissist. You're self-absorbed. You know-it-alls. You got an excuse for everything. You want to pass for everything. You litter. You ride on the roads and kill people. Keep driving. Man just died. What? Yesterday got hit by a car. Believe it's an SUV here in Knoxville, Tennessee on Magnolia. You kept driving. Now somebody has to bury this man. And you didn't even stop. Because you're selfish. But what you don't seem to understand, they're going to find your ass. And you're going to wish you had stopped and rendered aid to this man. Oh, yes. You're going to wish you stopped and rendered aid. Because now it's a hit and run. And you better hope you get a bond after they find you and arrest you. You see, everything's about us. We, the people. We are just dirty creatures. We are narcissists. We are self-absorbed. We're sociopaths and psychopaths. And it's time for us to get our asses in check. Because the earth is letting us know it's tired of us. And God is tired too. And we've got to stop thinking about self. Because as I said, that is why Mr. Longo is in the shape that he is in. That the government raided his home over this squirrel, raccoon. Seems extreme. But in your videos, you have a cat. And your cat don't look that happy. Now, that could just be the few videos seen by Angela and others where the cat doesn't look happy. And that's probably why somebody called on you. The cat. It said mainly Fred, the raccoon. So now we got to ask what the hell Fred was doing in the videos. Did he look sick? Did he look timid? Or did he look like he was aggressive? I don't know, because I don't watch content about wild animals. But I'm going to tell you something I'm going to check out of here. There's a guy who has videos on YouTube. Don't know if he's alive or dead, but it's been probably a year or two. I was passing through the queue and I saw a guy outside feeding a wild, I believe it was a possum or something like that, on his back porch, and it was winter. Some of you probably seen the video. What was scary about that video was that it started off with one wild animal he was feeding. And then a swarm of them came. Same animal. Same type of animal, rather. They all gathered around. Was it a raccoon? Can't remember if it was a raccoon. It might have been a raccoon. Whatever it was, you get my point. They all came. And when I say it was like hell opened up because it was so many of them on his back porch. I think he was feeding them hot dogs. You all may know who I'm speaking of. I want you to think about what I just said. What started off as one became probably 1,000 or so of wild animals, raccoons, whatever they were, on his back porch. Okay? Now I want you to use logic. I don't know how many hot dogs he had in his bag, but just imagine you run out of hot dogs. And the animals look at you and say, hey, where the rest of the hot dogs at? Or one decides he wants to get up near you and attack you. And another one, mad because you got one near you, and they get jealous. And then they attack you and they eat you for dinner. Hello, Painted Black. Exactly, Cat. We justify our own sin. Exactly. We do it all the time. We all have done it. May not be about a squirrel or a raccoon. It might be about something we said, something we did to somebody. Spiteful. We didn't think it was spiteful. Revenge. Our behavior. Because we're flawed creatures. And that's what Mr. Longo needs to understand. That right now you're getting ready to play a dirty game. Because you're now getting ready to ask for donations from the public to fight a battle about a squirrel and a raccoon. And that's going to affect your other animals who need money as well to thrive. And how is that going to work for you, sir? Because legal bills are expensive. Hiring a lawyer, going to court. And so any monies you get from the public are now going to go towards fighting for a squirrel and a dead raccoon. Say, whoa. Now, some will say, you saw some of the comments I read, people are angry that the government went in. So what you have to ask yourself, was it right? Was it wrong? Did they have a right for a warrant to be signed by a judge? Case investigated. What do they have proof that these animals were endangering the lives of the owners and any other inhabitants that come into the home, but it's state law. So really it don't matter. He lives in New York now, and New York does not have a law that says you can own a raccoon and a squirrel in your house. So that's your problem number one. State laws, city laws. It's a wild animal. That's why they don't want it in your house, for the fact that it could have rabies, diseases. You're not thinking about that as well. You don't know what that rat had. I'm going to call it a rat because it's part of the rat family. You ain't got to like it. It's a wild animal. They were wild animals that you took in. So whether you got vaccinations or not, they're still wild animals, and you're allowing them to crawl around your house. And then I saw content today that you allow them to be in the refrigerator, on top of the stove, refrigerator, jumping everywhere, countertops, sitting in a Pyrex dish with food, grains. That's nasty. You want me to believe you went and spent money on a glass Pyrex dish to put a motherfucking rat in? Now I'm about to get ignorant now. Did you hear what I just said? You want Queen to believe you bought a Pyrex dish, a glass cooking dish that you're supposed to use for cooking food, stirring food, baking food. You bought it for a fucking rat. Because your rat was inside of that on top of your countertop with your camera rolling where people eat. You open your refrigerator and the squirrel was in the refrigerator. How the hell did it get in the refrigerator? He ain't big enough to open no damn refrigerator door. We ain't talking about a bear. That's why somebody complained. You're doing too much. You had another domesticated animal, which was a cat. For all we know, the cat don't like the rat or the raccoon. For all we know, they were, hell, bullying the cat. I don't know. I don't watch your content. See, you weren't thinking. Because you're self-absorbed, and the story ain't really about the squirrel and the raccoon. The story is about you, Mr. Longo. The story is about you. You're making videos on social media, but the story is really about you. It's what Mr. Longo wanted. What Mr. Longo says, go. He's my raccoon. He's my squirrel. It's my world. So what? But the government says, hell no. And that's just the world we live in. There's always going to be a complaint. There's going to always be a law that people don't want to abide by. That's life. So instead of you moving to New York, you should have moved in a state near here where you could have a pet squirrel, such as Tennessee, Alabama, wherever. And you could have all the squirrels and billy goats you want in your house. You could have your animal refuge, taking donations from the state, the town, fans, and live happily ever after. So that's what you have to do. You got to know your game. You got to know your craft. You don't know your craft because you were doing what most people do. You were doing you. You said, I'm going to do what I want to do. And now look at the ramifications. Your animal has been put down. 2. And I'm going to say it, and I'm out of here. It's nasty. That squirrel is of the rat family. And you should know your homework. You found that in the streets of New York. Come on with it, Quay. Preach. You found that in the streets of New York. That dirty, nasty, rat-filled city. Where they have videos of rats crawling on top of dining tables inside of businesses when the lights are out. Damn. And then you gonna go out to the street and pick up a squirrel because his mammy got ran over by a car, and then take that motherfucker back to your house and raise it as your pet rat. I said it. And then a raccoon, raccoons are very vicious. Let me school you. I remember a story my aunt once told me about a raccoon messing with a garbage can. We here in Tennessee have to tie garbage cans down with bungee cords, sticks, so the raccoons don't get in the garbage can. They're fierce. I believe it was either she or some guy we know who said raccoon, he looked out in the yard, because they've been messing with the garbage cans, and he said that fucking raccoon stood up like Mike Tyson with his arms up like, what? What you gonna do? Oh, you think that's make-believe? Because I believe it. Raccoons will fight. And if a raccoon can open up a garbage can and take a lid off so he can get in the trash, what you think a raccoon will do in your fucking house? He having a bad damn day. Exactly. Thank you for following this network. Follow me on the Newsbreak app where I give the same type of commentary for breaking news and updates. Like, share, subscribe, drop your comment below this video. And honey, please take the poll on my community page where some of you believe, out of about 11 votes or so, that the government should not have raided this man's house and killed his pet raccoon and squirrel, Mr. Peanut. You can either agree or disagree, but anybody knows it is not hygienic to have wild animals running in your house, especially in your damn kitchen where you eat food, touch countertops. That's nasty. And that's just the queen. Thank you for your time. Have a wonderful weekend. UT is playing University of Kentucky. We're going to whoop them Wildcats' tail tonight, God willing. The game starts at 7:45. That's where I will be. You all have a safe weekend. If you see something, say something. Mind your children. Be a part of the solution, not the problem. And if you'd like to donate to this great network, $DeGangie 129 Cash App. You all have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Thank you. Hello, Pat. Thank you. You're a little late there, sister. I'm all for people having animals if that is their choosing. As I said, I'm not an animal person. I don't want any animals because I'm doing good to take care of Queen. But my thing is, I don't believe in I don't believe in wild animals, in homes. As I said, it's filthy and it's nasty. I don't want a pet squirrel, rat running around my house. I don't think you should have a chicken and a coyote running around your house. Because where does it stop? Raccoon, squirrel. Next day, you're trying to bring the bear in. That ain't going to work. And you're messing with God's animals anyway. Because he put them out here for a reason. And he wants them out here for a reason. And when you go messing in their habitat, you're messing with the animals, which you should not be doing. The very reason why many people are hurt by animals, because you're in their jurisdiction, such as where I live up here near the Smoky Mountains. You going up there, fiddling around as if that's where you're supposed to be and where you stay, because man carved the road and put a house and a chalet up there. That's their land. And you're in their habitat. And that's the reason why bears come down to this region, because they're hungry, they're thirsty. Because you've been up there fumbling around, building houses, apartment buildings, hotels, and you're running them out. So you see, there is retribution from the earth. As someone once said to me years ago, she got to get it back. She gonna get it back. Have you not been paying attention to what's been going on lately? The earth, Mother Earth, has got to get it back. Thank you for your time. Thank you, Mary, for commenting. Thank you all for joining me, all of you. Cat keeps on. Born in Boston. Thank you. Thank you all. And Miss Parker, you came a little late. And thank you, Mr. Byron Brown. Thank you all so much. I will bring you an update to this story. What's going to happen with the legal process if Mr. Longo and his wife are going to sue the state of New York for the raid and the killing of the animals. Will he be able to win in court? And if not criminally, he can possibly sue them civilly. I'll bring you that update. Thank you so much. God bless all of you. Hello, tacos. Thank you. You fallen in too. Thank you all so much. Interesting story. I thought I'd bring it to you guys on a Saturday. Why not? I didn't have anything else planned. I didn't even plan to go live, but I said, let me bring the chat this story because everybody is talking about it on social media. I'm sure Mr. Cuomo's all wrapped up into it, and he's kind of, applauding this guy and, thinking making it seem like, oh, what's wrong what they did. Cuomo, you better be still because you got to be glad you got a little job on News Nation. Now, don't let Queen start testifying up here. What Miss Wanda say, I ain't one to gossip. You ain't heard it from me. Cuomo, you better simmer down. You know y'all ain't supposed to have no damn wild ass animals in your damn house. And I'm telling you, when I kept looking at that damn squirrel running and jumping around, I said, hell, that's how they are when they outside. They quick. Whoop, 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 up in the tree, run up the tree, down, run over here, jump from tree to tree. Now that's going on in your house. A wild ass animal. So it don't matter that it's been 7 years. It don't matter that he ain't bit the owners. It's a wild animal. That's the point. Thank you. Thank you for following this network. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful weekend. Be safe. You see, Queen, I said, I'm not dialing up for no damn live stream. Not today, honey. Doop, doop, doop. Threw my little bonnet on, and I was ready to go, honey. I'm trying to be still for this game because I'm ready for UT to whoop some tail tonight, baby. I am ready. I'm ready. Girl, stop. Tacos, please. And I like owls. I love me an owl. I don't like the real owls, but I like the ones that's ceramic. Because I had one I painted white. So y'all get me all off topic. But yeah, I do a ceramic owl. I do like them. Well, they ain't real. You understand what I'm saying? And you and the damn monkey, girl, you stupid. Girl, let me get off of here. You so damn crazy. Thank you all so much. Take the poll. Matter of fact, let me go over here and look and see if anybody else has voted. Because I know some of you are saying, Queen, don't go. It's 2:28. Hold on. Lord have mercy. They didn't put the squirrel and the raccoon down. I be damn. And he hot butter. Hope that man don't end up having a damn nervous breakdown. We now have 13 more votes. 24 of you have voted. Peanut the squirrel, Fred the raccoon, were put down. Right or wrong? Right, 25%. 63% said it was wrong. 13% of you are not sure. Just a little while ago, you had voted at 27% weren't sure when it was 11 votes. Thank you all so much. Take the poll. Right or wrong? You have a great weekend too, Tacos. Thank you so much. God bless all of you. You have been listening to the Vault XM. Talk to you guys later. Bye.